When people hear the word profit margin, it often sounds complicated, but in reality, it is very simple. Profit margin is the percentage of money a restaurant keeps after paying for all its costs. Imagine a customer pays $10 for a meal. That full $10 does not stay in the owner's pocket. From that $10, the restaurant must pay for ingredients, staff salaries, electricity, rent, and many other small expenses. After covering all of these, whatever is left is the profit. If the restaurant keeps only 50 cents out of every $10, the profit margin is 5%. This shows how thin margins really are in the food business. Unlike other industries where companies might keep large chunks of money, restaurants usually keep only a very small part. That is why every cent matters in this business. Understanding profit margin is the first step for any small restaurant owner to see where their money goes, and more importantly, how to improve it. Without knowing this, many owners find themselves working hard but not seeing real growth. Why restaurants struggle with profits. Running a small restaurant is more than just cooking food and serving customers. The struggle with profits starts because expenses pile up quickly and income is not always steady. Rent for the space is often high, especially in busy areas where restaurants need to be visible. On top of that, staff wages, utility bills, and licenses eat away at the cash flow every single month. Then there is the challenge of competition. In most cities, people have hundreds of choices for where to eat. If a customer skips your place even once a week, that missing income makes a big difference. Another struggle comes from unpredictable costs. For example, if the price of vegetables or meat suddenly rises, the restaurant owner cannot always raise menu prices right away. This means profit gets squeezed even further. And let's not forget slow seasons when fewer customers walk in, yet bills remain the same. All of this creates pressure, and many owners realize they are barely breaking even. The truth is, restaurants struggle with profits not because they do not work hard, but because the business itself is designed with thin margins and heavy expenses. The average margin in small restaurants. When we look at numbers, the reality of small restaurant profits becomes clear. On average, most small restaurants only keep between 3 to 5% of their revenue as profit. That means if a restaurant earns $100,000 in sales, the owner might only take home $3,000 to $5,000 after covering all expenses. Full-service restaurants, the kind where customers sit down and are served, usually operate on the lower side, closer to 3%. Quick service spots, like small cafes or fast food-style places, can sometimes reach up to 6 or 7%, but even that is not very high compared to other industries. For example, retail or tech companies can see margins that are 10, 20, or even 30%. This comparison shows why small restaurant owners often feel like they are running hard just to stay in place. They might have full tables and busy kitchens, but the numbers at the end of the month tell another story. Understanding this average margin helps owners set realistic goals and avoid being surprised when their income feels smaller than expected. It also highlights the need for smart cost management to survive in such a tough business. Common costs that eat into earnings. Every dollar that comes into a small restaurant is quickly divided into many different costs. The biggest expense is usually food and ingredients. Fresh produce, meat, dairy, and even simple items like rice or flour add up fast, especially when quality is a priority. Next comes labor. Paying cooks, servers, cleaners, and managers is necessary to keep the restaurant running smoothly, but it takes a huge slice of the budget. Rent is another heavy cost, particularly in popular areas where restaurants depend on foot traffic. Add in utilities like electricity, water, and gas, and the bills keep growing. On top of these, there are hidden costs that owners often underestimate. Things like cleaning supplies, packaging for takeout, credit card processing fees, and regular repairs for kitchen equipment. Licenses, permits, and insurance also take a chunk, whether business is good or slow. When all of these are combined, it is easy to see why the leftover profit is so small. For many owners, the challenge is not just earning money, but controlling how quickly it slips away into these everyday expenses. Knowing where the money goes is the first step toward improving profit margins. How food prices affect profit. Food is at the heart of every restaurant, and the price of ingredients can decide whether a business makes money or loses it. When the cost of vegetables, meat, or cooking oil rises even a little, it cuts directly into the restaurant's profit. For example, if chicken suddenly costs 20% more, but the menu prices stay the same, the owner earns less from every plate sold. Many small restaurants hesitate to raise prices quickly because they fear losing customers. People notice even a small increase on their favorite meal, and too many changes can push them toward cheaper competitors. This leaves owners in a tough position, trying to balance customer satisfaction with survival. Seasonal changes also play a role. Tomatoes might be cheap in summer but expensive in winter, yet restaurants are expected to keep offering the same menu year-round. Global issues, like supply chain problems or fuel price hikes, also ripple down to small restaurants. In the end, rising food costs are one of the biggest threats to profit margins. Owners who manage to negotiate with suppliers, adjust menu items, or reduce waste often stand a better chance of protecting their earnings. The role of labor and staffing in every small restaurant. Staff are the backbone of daily operations. From chefs preparing meals to servers taking care of customers, every role is important. But labor is also one of the largest and most complicated costs. Wages, benefits, and sometimes overtime pay can take up a big part of the budget. Unlike food, which can be adjusted by portion size or menu changes, labor costs are harder to control. A busy night may require more staff, while a slow day still demands a minimum number of workers to keep service running. Hiring and training new employees also costs money, and high staff turnover in the restaurant industry makes this a constant struggle. On the other hand, cutting staff to save money often backfires because poor service or long wait times can drive customers away. Small restaurants must strike a delicate balance, paying fair wages while keeping expenses under control. Smart scheduling, training staff to handle multiple roles, and building loyalty with employees can help. At the end of the day, the way labor is managed can decide whether a restaurant survives or falls into deeper financial stress. Smart ways to boost margins. Even though small restaurants face thin profits, there are practical ways to improve margins. One method is menu engineering, focusing on dishes that bring the highest profit and reducing items that cost too much to prepare. For example, a pasta dish might be cheaper to make but sell at a good price, creating better returns than an expensive steak plate. Reducing food waste is another big saver. By carefully tracking portions and using ingredients in multiple dishes, owners can stop money from literally being thrown away. Negotiating better deals with suppliers or buying in bulk also helps cut costs. On the income side, small changes can increase earnings. Offering specials, combo meals, or loyalty discounts encourages repeat customers. Some restaurants add delivery or catering services to bring in extra revenue. Technology, like digital ordering or modern payment systems, can make service faster and reduce errors. Even something simple like improving the restaurant's atmosphere or customer experience can encourage people to come back more often. Each small step may not seem like much, but together these smart strategies can slowly lift profit margins and give small restaurant owners more breathing room. Final thoughts for small owners. Running a small restaurant is a dream for many, but the reality behind the numbers is often tough. Profit margins are thin, and every decision matters. Owners are not just chefs or managers. They are problem solvers who constantly juggle food costs, staff, rent, and customer expectations. The key lesson is that success does not come only from serving good food. It also comes from understanding the business side deeply, knowing what profit margin means, recognizing where money is lost, and applying smart strategies to protect income can make the difference between staying open or closing doors. Many small restaurants fail within the first few years, not because of lack of passion, but because of poor planning and weak financial control. For those who keep learning, adapting, and carefully managing both costs and customers, survival is possible and even rewarding. At the end of the day, small restaurant owners should remember that profit is not about big leaps, but about steady small improvements. With patience, creativity, and strong focus, even thin margins can be turned into long-term success.